Hello everyone, and welcome to this PowerPoint presentation on 3D printed hollow microneedles for lateral flow uptake. So typically during a blood sampling, a hypodermic needle is used, but they do cause pain as they go too far into the dermis where pain receptors are. So a better device is hollow microneedles, as they don't penetrate as far and they're pain-free. These devices can also be produced using 3D printers, making them fast and cheap to manufacture, which is very useful for poorer countries. And there's no training required, so anyone can use this in a simple patch and go method. The aims of my project were to optimize the design. So I did this using AutoCAD and then producing it using a 3D printer and then analyzing the dimensions to make sure they were consistent, to make sure they were hollow and that there were no deformities. So you can see a failed sample here. Once this was successful, I made a high density and a low density array, and the penetration was tested by applying weights onto fake skin known as parafilm. Then I characterized the uptake rate by calculating how the volumetric flow rate of methyl blue traveling through the needles. And once I had confirmed this was possible, I used it on a functional aspect to test for HCG presence on a pregnancy test kit. So as you can see here, this is the penetration test. And out of all these designs, the teardrop design showed the highest penetration, whereas the other two designs weren't as good as they had a larger contact area. High density arrays suffered from a bed of nails effect, so that means the force was spread across the needles, which reduces pressure. And in terms of uptake, the high density arrays took 223 seconds to fill, whereas the low density didn't fill due to hydrophobicity. And a positive result was achieved using the pregnancy test strip. So to conclude, the teardrop design had the lowest offsets. High density arrays suffered from a bed of nails effect, but they did take up fluid. And low density arrays didn't take up fluid, but had better penetration. And a proof of concept was achieved. So future work should focus on reducing the hydrophobicity of the resin and using a biocompatible version, as the current one is toxic, and evaluating the use of HMNs for transdermal drug delivery rather than sampling, continuous monitoring, so diabetic patients where glucose levels can be monitored, and detection of biomarkers such as COVID-19. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and don't hesitate to ask me any questions.